Dependent on these things. You leave it at home and you feel lost, right? It's a technology that adults are trying to grasp, something teens take to as easily as breathing. After all, they've never really known a world without texting. It begs the question, can too much texting affect a child's social development? As 9 on Your Side's Corey Marshall explains, the answer may surprise you.
I fear that she's not going to know how to communicate when she's, out of college or working in her whatever profession.
Diane Schaller is like many parents. Her 16-year-old daughter is attached to texting.
I worry about kids growing up now because everything is getting replaced by some sort of electronic device, machines.
Not face-to-face.
Exactly.
Usually the parents should be doing more.
Dr. John Rosegran is a clinical psychologist and has written articles on technology use in adolescence.
Adolescence is a time when ideally kids are learning good social judgment and how to relate to other people and forming their sense of self, and excessive technology use can get in the way of that.
He says long term, today's texting teens may have problems with impulse control. Parents see it, your child gets a text and responds right away without thinking it through. We're talking about serious delays in social development.
The possible downside is just that kids move into adulthood more socially immature than they would have otherwise.
While it's more of a problem in children that are shy, the side effects of too much texting is widespread.
They can come to rely on texting in a way that they cut themselves off more and more from face-to-face communication with people.
What's more, children are not learning social cues.
They don't learn as well to judge the tone of voice, the facial expression, the body, the posture of people that they're communicating with, because that information is missing.
Those are really, for many people, very difficult skills, and they're becoming more difficult as you text more.
Parents, pay attention to these signs. Is your child having trouble focusing in school, completing homework, and sleeping? Developmental pediatrician Dr. Sydney Rice says all signs point to texting.
One of the big problems is children who text a lot have trouble falling asleep because they have trouble turning off those electronics.
She says they receive a text in the middle of the night from a friend. That wakes them up, and suddenly they're texting for 2 hours. In turn, they're tired at school and can't focus.
I see many, many children with sleep disorders.
But it's not all bad.
There are other kids who are not missing out, who have vibrant social lives and in fact expand their social lives with these technologies. So it can work in both directions.
Additionally, Rosegran says texting, Facebook, and social media itself can help socially isolated kids.
There are some kids for whom they aren't going to be doing much face-to-face communicating anyway, and it can be a real useful avenue for making contact with other people.
Experts agree the answer isn't taking away technology.
One of the most useful things that I found in working with families is to help the parents think through and become more comfortable with technology so that they can then help their children with it.
Dr. Rice says parents need to set the example and model moderate cell phone use.
And they actually, I think, need to specifically say, hey, I really want to spend time with you, and so because I love you, I'm going to turn off all of my devices and focus only on you. I don't care how many messages I receive or who is texting me.
I'm hoping to kind of work on that with her, and that's really up to me. I have to, as a parent, I have to pull back and start putting back in the human qualities